This is the front page. There are 5 buttons for the user to choose from, and that is Reservations, Guest Management, Excursions, Forecasting, and Overbooking. There are 3 things to note when going through the system, and that is that all dates have to be put in the format month, day, and year. Cells in blue cannot be modified, and cells in orange are user inputs and therefore can be modified. Here we click on Reservations, and as you can see, we put in scroll bars on the top and the left. The one on the top goes to the right to show future dates, and the one on the left goes down to show the number of rooms that we have at in the hotel. We have standard rooms, and here deluxe, and then suites. So we go back to the top, and as you can see, the reservation for room number 1 is for April 12th, and it goes to April 14th. But we built this system so that the day that they are checking out doesn't register as an occupied day, because later that day another guest can check in. So red is for occupied rooms and green is for vacant rooms. As you can see, there's a reservation for room number 2, and we built the system for it to recognize that the days that the guest in room number 2 is staying is the guest in room number 2, the duration of their stay overlaps and does not fit into the vacancy left by the previous 2 reservations in room number 1, so the system automatically puts them into the next available room. In orange, you can see on the side that there's the rates for the standard, deluxe, and suite rooms. Those can be modified by the hotel. Now we click on Make a Reservation, and you can input the check-in date and the checkout date. For a standard room. And then after you put in the dates, you can check availability. And the system tells you that there is a room available, so you click OK. And then you go back and you put in the guest's name. And then after you do that, you click Estimate Total for the price of the duration of their stay, and then you create a reservation. So as you can see, we have now created a new reservation for this guest in room number 5 from April 12th to the 18th. So say Al Capone arrives at this hotel, and so we check him in. So click check in, and then there is an existing reservation, so we click yes. And then to find the reservation, we enter his name and click Find Reservation. And then his information is pulled up, and then we add in his address. And then click Check In. So in the database of our current guests, Al Capone is registered in the room that he's staying in, which is room 5. Okay, so say there was no previous reservation for him when he showed up at the hotel. So click check-in, and you would click, no, this is not an existing reservation. And now we are put back into the make a reservation for when he actually arrives. So we put in the information. And register him. And create the reservation, and he is automatically put in, and then we would check him in. After the duration of Al's stay, we would have to come back to the system and check him out. So we click on checkout, and we put in the room number, click find guest, and his information shows up, and we click checkout, and he is removed from our database of current guests. So if the hotel ever wanted to contact, after we have cleared Al from our database of current guests, say the hotel wanted to contact a former guest. So we can go to our guest management tab, and we have here our customer database, and this is just the system keeping a running log of every guest who had ever made a reservation or stayed at this hotel. Here we have a scroll on the left. What's up? And there's also an option for clearing the data.
Okay. After we go back to the hotel menu option, we can click on excursions. We decided to use Bing Maps instead of Microsoft MapPoint because this doesn't require the user to have Microsoft MapPoint installed. It has a much friendlier user interface, relatively intuitive, and does not require installation. Here, we go to the Map Apps area, click on Route Savvy Route Optimizer by Ontario Systems. Here, the Route Savvy Route Optimizer app has been loaded. As you can see, we can start planning by adding stops. You can manually input the addresses by typing them in. Or you can even zoom into the map itself and add locations by simply clicking different addresses. After adding all points of interest, we simply scroll down, select whether it's round trip or one-way, defined end location or undefined end location, and shortest distance or shortest time, even shortest time with traffic. Once we have decided all the addresses that we want to input, we click Generate Optimal Route. In a matter of seconds, the general optimized route is portrayed on the screen. Now we can see this data simply by scrolling down, showing show and pop-up. Now we have turn-by-turn directions for each point of interest, which can be copied and printed. Once we have generated the optimal route, we can then go back and save the result with a simple login information for future use, or we can clear all stops and even import an Excel spreadsheet and use column data of different addresses or points of interest to generate another optimal route. We also included Bing Maps because of its wealth of other apps available to the users of our system.
The last part of our project is slightly more analytical. Here we have some past data of the demand that our hotel experienced in the years from 2007 to 2010. We have 3 first months for 2011, and we made it available for the user to input the rest for the year 2011 as well for 2012, 13th, and 14th, because this is linked to the forecasting sheet, which has the whole analysis laid out right here. You can choose your alpha, beta, and gamma as you please, and then all the calculations are carried out for you. These cells right here, those are the actual values, and they are linked to the table that I have previously mentioned right here. The forecasted demand for the next month is in this table. So like you can see, for example, January, and this is the actual number for January, and then the forecast for February is this number right here, and that was the actual demand. And from that we can calculate the forecast for March and so forth. Now, for the user's convenience and easier analysis, we have included some charts of the data that we have presented right now. For example, right here we have a chart. It's a monthly comparison of the demand. We have set all the months from the years that we have gathered data from against each other so that we can see how it varies. The next chart that we have included, it's a comparison of actual versus the forecasted demand that we have created from the forecasting sheet presented previously. The blue line presents the actual demand from the data that we have gathered, and the forecasted demand is the orange-red line, and it's actually pretty close to the actual except for the end, but it's, for the most part, it's pretty close. The last chart that we have included here is the comparison of the actual demand of 3-period moving average and the polynomial trend analysis. And the blue line is the actual demand, like in the previous charts. Then the smooth line right here is the polynomial regression, and this is the formula and the R-squared. And then this line right here is the 3-period moving average that we have calculated. The very last part of our project is dedicated to overbooking analysis, and this can be done by clicking this button right here. And here we have created a table. On this side we have the amount of no-shows. Right here we have probabilities of this many no-shows happening, and those probabilities can be adjusted by the user, and that comes from the past experience of the hotel. Then on this side we have the number of reservations overbooked, and the average price right here, this is pulled from the numbers on the reservation sheet which the user can input, and this is the average price of the 3 different hotel rooms. Then the walk-in cost of the customers, this can be adjusted as the user pleases, can change to $100 or $150, for example. And as you can see, the expected loss is calculated right here, and the lowest value is highlighted in green and also displayed here. So for this particular scenario of the average price being $150 and the walk-in cost of $150, the best option is to overbook through reservations.
So in conclusion, this is our hotel management support system designed to help small hotels. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time.